and Cape Cod. Our firm takes pride in assisting our clients in the next chapter of their lives by taking a holistic approach to their real estate endeavors. We believe.
Hello, are you there? Sharon, hello?
Melissa Wallace and I will provide you with my team's unique marketing approach to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We value the experience of our agents at Boston Connect Real Estate so much that not only will you hear my perspective on real estate topics, occasionally you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of our experienced.
Sharon, hello, are you there?
Yes, we're here. Can you hear us?
If you have,
Yes, I can. Thank you.
call 781-837-4900. We love to talk real estate.
Dave, can you hear us?
On Facebook, Instagram.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great.
Podcast
I
at
made
Talk
me
Real
nervous.
Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with me at bostonconnect.com or 781
Dave, what's your last name again?
8000.
It's Tinley,
Tinley.
Relax, take good
Tinley?
notes.
T-I-N?
Tinley.
Okay, thanks. Dave Tinley. And hello to all my South Shore neighbors. This is Sharon McNamara. You are, of course, listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. And good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. I have Melissa with me, and yeah, I'm a little thrown off this morning because I don't have Tim McKinney with me, but I do have Dave Tinley with me this morning. So good morning, Dave.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. Couldn't really hear him that loud, but I know he is there. He's in the WATD studios in Marshfield holding down the fort while Tim and Joel are at a wedding. It's not theirs, just so we're clear on that. I
Yeah.
asked last week.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So he is enjoying some time away, which is well-deserved. He's a hard worker for sure. But another hard worker we have in studio is Dave Tinley. Good morning.
Good.
Morning, Sharon.
Good
How are you this
morning.
morning?
Okay, yes. And we have Melissa, of course. Melissa is the Director of Operations here at Boston Connect Real Estate, and she is the agent in charge of all of agent relations and broker liaison. You have all these titles now, girl.
Hopefully Melissa works hard too.
Yeah, Melissa overworks, in my opinion. So, yes, you are a very hard worker, for sure. And I feel a little sluggish myself this week. Yeah, it's been busy.
Well, I responded to an email somebody had is requesting to be on the show, and we had talked to them a couple months ago, and it just got a little busy at the end of the year, and they reached back out, and I said, sorry for the delay. Spring market's in full swing.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah, and we like to say the housing market is heating up, hopefully with the sunshine, and get some more weather in here. That would be nice. And I heard the interest rates dropped a little bit this week, so I hear that's good news out there. So when interest rates drop, it generally brings all of our buyer clients out there in full force again because they feel, I don't know what they're waiting for, but you know what I mean? If you need to buy a house, like waiting for rates to drop just seems silly to me, and I get it. You just can't afford as much house. Like, I'm not saying overextend yourself. I'm just saying that all that means is you can afford less of a house.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's just life. Like, I'd love to, you know what I really love? I love the Lexus. It's like this, it's square. I don't know the models of anything, but it's sort of squared looking. Yeah, right?
I don't know.
So I looked it up. I mean, it has a third row. Those days are over for me. I'm not a third row girl. The things were like $90,000 for a car.
When I think of a square car, I think of those box with the hamsters or whatever that used
like
to
a
dance.
Kia.
Yeah,
the Kia would come out.
They
No, I don't know. It's
would
like maybe
dance.
it's like a QX. I'm lying. I have no idea what it's called, but I looked one up, and and this is how I feel about it. I am not willing to pay that much money for it. So yeah.
Well, it's a good thing you're not in
And
the
then I'm
market for a new car.
I'm really not. It's funny that I even looked, but I was just curious because I saw one on the road and I was like, oh, that's a nice looking vehicle. I wonder, if Lexus is listening right now and they want me to, drive around in one for them, for free, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not saying we wouldn't do that. We would certainly do that. We'll take two.
Yeah, we'll take two. I mean, both of us, we could just be the people. And we think about all the driving we do. And don't tell them about your commute, but, we're out there looking at houses. We're all over the place. So, so there you go, Lexus. Let us have a sales model.
Yeah. Well, my commute doubled this week. Thought I was going to lose my mind.
Yeah, because of the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But yeah.
Well,
So,
that was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
oh yeah. But today is going to be in the 40s, high 40s, right? So we're hopefully on the other side of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm praying.
Yeah. So, I
And-
mean, but all kinds of good things going on, right? So we put a new listing on the market this week. So 616 North Elm Street in West Bridgewater is officially on the market. We've been talking about that for a few weeks and just sort of waiting for the right timing when around the weather. And then we decided, Mother Nature, we're never going to beat you out. So
Yeah.
we're just going on the market. So we did that, came on the market this week. We had, we just put it on Thursday, later Thursday, and had a showing over there yesterday. Have an open house there tomorrow. So I'll be there from 10 to 12 tomorrow. Mark is going to be with me as well. And so is Melissa Clemens, who is a full-time real estate agent here at Boston Connect Real Estate. She'll be helping people there as well. So if you're an unrepresented buyer, don't worry about it.
We have Melissa.
We have Melissa there for you, so she can represent you. Yeah, so that will be good. And then doing an analysis for some people today, right after the show. So I'm doing a CMA, comparative market analysis, and worked on that last night.
Yeah. Got another one on Tuesday. It's busy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. I
busy.
have another one on Tuesday. Yeah. So things are sort of going along here. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about common homeowner mistakes. So how to protect your biggest investment.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So it's not necessarily winter driven, but there are parts to the show that we're going to be talking about the winter. And I kind of got the idea of doing the show. I know we always talk about we get these ideas from our everyday life in real estate. And I talked to one of our agents. I won't say who, but I talked to one of our agents this week, and she said, all of my clients are sort of coming out of the woodwork and saying like, hey, I have this issue. I have this issue. How do I resolve this? And it's not really like, my house is falling down type of issue. It's like, oh, my plow guy didn't come. Do you know anybody? I got
so many calls on that type of stuff.
yeah.
Right?
Do you know X, Y, and Z? So it's like coming back around to get some advice or sort of reach in our back pocket and say, hey, I know a guy. I got a guy.
Yeah,
We'll do one of those shows.
We did a show on that. I got a guy.
We'll do one of those shows.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to talk about some common homeowner mistakes.
And this is really a great topic. And I was talking to, I am going to get it hooked up eventually too with my friends on Clubhouse so they can participate as well. And this topic came up, but my niece Molly, she had a situation. Now her and her husband Doug bought a brand new construction home in Hanson, and this was a couple months ago, I guess, or a month ago. They had a situation where the condensation of the ERV that's in the house. So with the new construction, it's this thing is called ERV. Wish I knew what it stood for. I will look that up. And it like helps bring the air through and circulate air through the house because houses are built so tight. And the condensation thing well, we thought it froze and whatever. The situation ended up being something different, but it did, get some water damage in the ceiling of their bedroom and stuff like that. And Molly had said to me, what would be really great is if you just had like a different like side business where people could just like after they buy a house, they could just call you and say, hey, where do I go for this? What do I do for that? Blah, blah, blah. I go, well, you already do that. Like you're already doing that. And she goes, yeah, but I feel like I'm bothering you. Like that isn't your job. And I want people to know that is our job. Like it is after the sale is when the relationship is built, right?
Yeah.
So for us, we're not transactional. So, getting you to the finish line and closing on your house isn't the end all be all for us, right? It's being there, being a resource for you, knowing the people that we know. I mean, we're really fortunate. I mean, I know during this blizzard and during this storm, one of our houses that's vacant, that we're listing, we're going to be closing on that soon. And, the 30 inches of snow over there, right? Like on all the porches and everything else. And Mark was busy doing our buildings and he had client calls and he just couldn't get to it. but I sent a text to somebody and they're like, yep, if it isn't an emergency right now, I will 100% get to it. So
Yeah.
we're lucky that we have those resources.
Yeah.
Now, the clients in West Bridgewater, they're on North Elm Street, which is, a busier street, right? And the snow was in the street, like, you know what I mean? Like, so when the plow comes, they just have the big piles everywhere. Well, we want to make sure that we had some space for parking. And the daughters called, everybody was calling different people to find someone who could plow out the area so we could get a couple cars parked out for the open house, tomorrow. And they weren't able to do it. So Mark and Christopher went over there yesterday.
Yeah.
So, we have resources. And I think our office is great too, that we can lean into a lot of people in the office.
Yeah, I mean, we see it all the time. Does anyone know this person? Does anyone know somebody who does this? So certainly we're leaning into each other if we don't have the answer ourselves. But
Because if I don't have a guy, someone in here has a guy.
somebody's got a guy.
Or a girl.
Or a woman.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever.
Or a lady.
As a person.
As a person. So, I would say some key points of why we're sort of talking about this is because homeownership is one of the largest financial decisions most people will ever make. Mistakes that are common but happen don't just impact your monthly budget. They affect resale value, inspections, negotiations, and equity. Many homeowners start before closing and continue throughout ownership. I would say that the first mistake homeowners make is the financial one. And usually that happens before you purchase the house.
Well, we talked about that last week too,
Yeah.
right? Things not to do before you close and as well. But yeah, I think that that's an important one. And that's where I was coming, like my mindset when I was saying, it's great that the rates have dropped. Doesn't necessarily mean that you should go for a higher priced house. So to stay where you can still afford, but also always have a nest egg, if the water heater goes or things go. So.
Yeah. I would, talking about the financial mistakes, so buying at the top of your budget. We talked about this a lot during COVID when it was sort of like a lot of buyers were buying with emotion and looking below your budget. So you could buy with emotion and sort of creep up there with your budget. But when you're buying at the top of your budget, just because you can afford it, doesn't necessarily mean you should do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And I've been doing this for a very long time now, 24-ish years, I guess. And which is wild, right? So I've been doing this a long time. And during, what was it, like 2008 and 9. So during that time when things were like fast and furious, like right before it crashed, that's sort of when it crashed, though, like 2004, 5, 6, I guess. And people were just making these mistakes and they were just overpaying for all these houses. But then when people ended up losing their jobs and everything just sort of crashed around us, that's when people found themselves in a big mistake. But a lot of that has been taken care of and cleaned up too, because back then the mortgage industry, they had no doc loans, 100% financing. People didn't have to put their skin in the game. So they were buying houses without any money. And then when they didn't want to afford it anymore, couldn't afford it anymore, they just left the keys on the table and walked away.
Yeah.
Nothing to lose.
Oh, so you remember that?
I remember that. It was awful. It was awful.
Did that happen to any of your clients where they just walked away?
No, I don't know, maybe some people like that about me and some people maybe don't, but like, I'm not going to be the agent that's just going to push you into a house and just say, like, I'm specifically thinking of one of my clients, and he actually called me on a house and I went and I showed it to him, and he's like, I want to put an offer in on it. And I was like, I'll do what you want me to do, but I'm letting you know, I think that you can do better than this. Like, I think, and he really appreciated that I was so truthful with him. And it took over a year to find him the right house, but now he's still in that same house 18 years later. But I have 2 clients that I'm aware of. So I've sold over 750 homes in my career. So there's 2 that I remember that ended up in a short sale. And the reason they were in a short sale is it was a divorce situation. And that's what happens sometimes.
Yeah.
One's like, I'm not paying the mortgage.
Yeah.
Neither
I'm not
am I.
paying. You're not paying.
Yeah.
It's not being paid.
Yeah. And not even that. That's more of like a foreclosure type situation, but it ended up being like, okay, it was the timing of when they got married, the timing of when they bought the house at the height of the market, the timing of when they got divorced just a few years later.
Yeah.
Now the market's crashed, so that you don't have the equity in the house. So,
Yeah.
but that just happened twice.
Yeah. So talking about mistakes made at purchase, so buying at the top of your budget, buyers qualify for more than they should realistically spend. Sometimes buyers forget about lifestyle expenses, so childcare, I hear that's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Travel, retirement savings, everyday life. And it leaves no cushion for emergencies. So it's like when those things go, when the water heater goes, when the roof needs to be replaced, when, you're paying somebody to remove the snow if you're not doing it yourself. Things that come up in everyday life and in home ownership life, not leaving that sort of cushion to financially pay for that, which puts a strain, if you're buying at your top of your budget. So how to avoid that is staying below your maximum approval. So say you're pre-approved for 500,000, you can look up to 500,000. But if you stay below, then you're below your budget.
Yeah. And too, I mean, I think that there are times too where I may say to people, like, do you feel as if this is a house that is you're willing to stretch a little bit for, you know? I have a client who's going to be buying a house down in Falmouth, and ultimately another offer came in at the same exact time that we were putting an offer in. And I said, you know what, if I were you, I would just do your very highest and best. If you don't want to lose this house, this is the one that you want. Put in your highest and best right now. Go for it. If you don't get it, you don't get it. At least you put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
So she stretched herself just a teeny bit, but she ended up getting the house. So it will be fine.
It will be fine. And we have some ideas if you've made the mistake as well. So, but avoiding it, creating a post-closing monthly budget, keeping 3 to 6 months of reserved after closing. So that's being able to, have in savings 3 to 6 months of your mortgage and monthly expenses that you would be able to. I mean, things happen. Sometimes people lose their jobs. Sometimes people get sick. You might have a baby.
Yeah, that's a really important one. And I know that's one that Alyssa McNamara, it talks about, and Michael McNamara and Justin. Of course, they do the show right after us, McNamara on Money. And having that, reserve. We should do a show with her again soon. I'm wondering if it's still 6 months that people are saying, like in that finance world, that you should have 6 months reserved, put away. And I remember when Casey and Mackenzie were little, they were like 2 and 3, and my brother-in-law Michael came over and to do finance stuff with us. And he's like, all right, so by the time the girls are in college, and in order for you to blah, 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 you have to put away $2,000 a month. I went I walked away from the table. I went into the bathroom and I cried. Well, first I was embarrassed too. Like, you know what I mean? I was just, I don't know why money is like an embarrassing thing to like sort of talk about, but we just didn't have it. I was home with the babies, you know what I mean? We were eating bagel pizzas with mozzarella cheese, like ragu, and those were the days. And I was like, all right, looks like our kids aren't going to college.
Yeah. Look, they did.
Yeah, look at that. And I got 2 girls through college, paid for it all. But we stayed within our budget and our lifestyle. We've been in the same house for 33 years. We've used the equity in our house for real equity, for doing other things. Like we bought a 2-family, property. We've done different things. We've done additions on the house. Like anytime we've taken money out of the house, it's to improve the house. Yeah. So I think that's really important too. And that was one of the things, I mean, what year were you born?
1991.
Yeah. Okay. So you were around in 2000, but you clearly don't remember it was 2010, right? So when things when crashed, like they were just so bad, but when it was good, people were taking equity out of their house because the value of houses was so high. So everybody was doing, if they weren't moving, they were doing home equity loans. And we called that phantom income. So
Yeah.
when things went bad and now these houses they have maxed all the equity out of it, then the market crashes. Now you're a short sale, you're underwater. And I remember the question was, well, when you did when you refinanced and when you did this and like when you took money out on the house, I feel like I'm going to get a bloody nose right now, just so
Oh.
you know. When we did that, I would say, what improvements did you make on the house? And they would be like, oh no, I bought a camper.
Yeah.
Oh no, I took the family on a cruise.
Or some people take it out and they pay for college with that. Taking out loans and things. But so if you've made this mistake, purchasing at the top of your budget, it's not the end of the world. There are some things that you can do. So refinance when possible. The rates just dropped. I'm sure some loan officers have reached out to buyers in the past few years and said, hey, thinking about refinancing, are you in a great position to do that? Cut non-essential expenses and rebuild reserves. Consider renting part of the property if allowed. So we talked about ADUs and
we're gonna have a show on that.
apartments, accessory apartments, and everything like that. So if there's a part of your home that you could rent and you generate some income, do that.
Yeah. So we are going to do shows on ADUs, and I know a company reached out to us, and Chris Bethany, who we've had his wife and everybody on the show, and giving him and his daughter shout outs. They want to come on as well. So
oh, perfect. And they have their own podcast as well. Maybe we can be guests on theirs
yeah, that's
too.
what he said. That's what we will do.
Perfect. Ignoring the total cost of home ownership, so overlooking costs, so property taxes, they increase over time. Homeowners insurance increases.
Yeah. And two, I want to let you know, so with your property taxes, it's, the assessment is based on 2-year prior sales. So if you're in a 3-bedroom Cape, and what the assessors do is they're looking at other 3-bedroom Capes and what they sold for. So that's why when we saw, and this is one of the unfortunate things, I think, for people like for our boomer generation that's been in their house a long time, that they saw their assessments going up and up and up and up and up. And they're like, well, why is the value of my house going up? I haven't improved it. I haven't done anything of it. Why is it going up? It's going up because other houses that are similar to yours are selling for more money. So they artificially increase, in my opinion. But there's one thing I can promise you about property taxes. Even if your assessment goes down, so let's just say that the value of houses starts going down again, right? So let's just say, okay, your house is assessed for $500,000 by the town, and let's just say the tax rate is $12.50 per thousand. So that's what your taxes are. Well, if the market goes down and they start to do 2 years, if the market goes down today, in 2 years, that $500,000 house, if it's worth $450,000, which I don't see happening, by the way, if that's now you're at $450,000. You think your taxes are going down? I promise you they won't. What will happen is now that tax rate, your value is at $450,000, assessed value. Now that tax rate that was $12.50 is probably going to be $13.50, right? Like the taxes are never going down.
Yeah. You really care about taxes when you have to pay them. So when you become a homeowner, so again, property taxes, they increase over time. Homeowners insurance increases. Utilities, especially larger homes, and I would say across the board. I've only owned my home for a little over 2 years, and even the difference from when I purchased in November of 23 to now, it's going to be March tomorrow, so March of 26, the difference in my gas bill and my electricity bill is so different from when I first purchased, and that's only a little over 2 years.
And this is the point of this conversation is you don't want to strap yourself like where you're, trying to figure out like, and that's, it is important to look at the utilities when you're looking at a house, like what are they paying now? But I think that that's a really good, comment in fact that you're stating right now, Mel, is that those things are going to increase, just to plan on them increasing.
Yeah.
So
And it's not like you're using more. Now
Mm-hmm.
these companies are charging more to deliver it to
The
your
delivery,
house.
yeah.
The delivery fees are higher than what our usage is.
In this office, yeah.
And you know, when I first purchased my home, I was living by myself. Now my fiance Ethan lives with me, so thankfully I have somebody to split those bills with.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't even imagine if I had nobody to help, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
like double, triple
Mm-hmm.
in 2 years.
Yeah.
So I understand when people are like, I'm upset about this whole delivery fee. What can we do about this? What's going on with these,
Yeah, what is going
companies?
on? And too, like, are they just trying to push us towards, other,
Other
they want,
avenues.
they want to get rid of fossil fuels, right? So they want to
Mhm.
get rid of natural gas. They want to get rid of oil. That's what they want to do. And they want everything to be electric. And I do see benefits of heat pumps, but I also see, some things that go wrong with the heat pumps,
Yeah.
and, but that is one of the benefits. And when you said, especially with utilities, especially with larger homes, I wrote down and older
Older.
homes,
Yeah.
right? So your home is built what, in the 70s?
1964.
1964. Think about that. Like, just the way that construction is
Mhm.
today. I mean, things only improve over
Yeah.
time. So if you bought a house today, that's new construction, chances are the utilities are very efficient,
Mhm.
so the bills are a lot less. And I know, I mean, we have some of it, like our new construction. We only have one left, by the way, in Hanson at
Yeah.
Cushing Trails, if you can believe that. So we just have one over there. But over in West Bridgewater, we just opened up phase 3. And some of our units are over 2,400 square feet of space, and the monthly electric bill is under $300.
Yeah.
Right. So they are very efficient if you don't have a
Electric
car.
vehicles. Yeah. So we had talked about this because somebody did have a higher bill, and I said, well, do they have a Tesla? Do they have an electric car? And they have two. And so,
But now they're not paying gas at the pump.
yeah, exactly. So we sort of did a little calculation. I have a friend who owns an electric vehicle, and he had told me how much he spends every day, pretty much, because it tells you how much you're spending every day for your electric vehicle. And I'm like, okay, take that times 2 and times it by 30. There you go.
There you go. That's exactly
There's
that
the
was exactly
difference.
what the number was.
There's the difference. HOA fees. So we're talking about financial things that could come up. If you're purchasing at the top of your budget, and why this sort of can fluctuate. So HOA fees, if you're purchasing a condo or even a single family home in a development that has an HOA fee, those go up over time.
Well,
Do they ever go down?
hold on, people, because this is something that Mark and I were talking about as we were driving down the street right after the blizzard. I wanted to come by the office and check everything. I thought at one point Mark and I were going to be moving into the office because we lost electricity at home.
Well, yeah, because you didn't want to come to my house or to Mary's house
Yeah,
because
well,
your
tell them
options
why.
were cats or a screaming toddler.
Yeah. I was like, I think we'll just go to the office.
Yeah. So
Yeah. But we were driving, like we drove by the office just to sort of, check after the storm type thing. And when we were driving around, we went by a couple of developments and they weren't even like plowed out yet, which made
Yeah.
me very nervous, by the way. I actually did reach out to one of my clients at one of the developments over here. And I was like, you need to tell your association to get somebody over there ASAP, because if anybody has an emergency,
yeah.
the fire department isn't getting in and you're not getting out. So
Yeah.
somebody better do something about that. It really made me nervous. It shows my age. I think I'm just too motherly now, huh?
Well, that's interesting because last night I got home and I was, call it getting my comfies on, put my pajamas on and everything.
Uh-huh.
And I hear
My leisure wear.
my leisure wear, my at home wear, and I hear buzzing across down the street. It was like a fire truck and an ambulance and a cop. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my street is always so quiet.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to know what's going on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm at that point where I'm like, I'm so nosy. I want to know what's going on with everything. And when we were outside, doing the shoveling and stuff, I could see like, okay, that neighbor has a snow blower. That one has somebody that comes in, just plows them out. I actually have a lot of town workers that live around me.
Yeah.
Ethan has gotten to know them all. Somebody who works at the in the trash department, and then the person who lives across the street from me works in the water department. And Ethan talks to them all the time.
When's Ethan's birthday? What month?
August.
August. You know what would be good for you to buy him in
What?
August is a snowblower for his birthday.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
I could.
Yeah, I think that you should do that. Start
I'm
it-
sure he would love that.
Yeah, an envelope fund.
An
Yeah.
envelope fund.
But like I love like when Mark pulls up in the truck and it's like I can almost hear the hallelujahs coming out of the house.
Yeah.
No.
Thank God. I mean, you don't realize how big my driveway is until you're shoveling it. You're like, why did I buy this? I said next time we're just parking tandem in the regular driveway and
Yeah.
not using the half circle because I don't want to shovel this ever again. But we did pretty well until
Yeah, you did
as
good.
far
Yeah, you did a lot
until
better than Mary did. So, so we sidetracked there. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. I am Sharon McNamara, the broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate. Boston Connect is, of course, the sponsor of our show here, Talk Real Estate Roundtable on WATD. We have Dave Tinley in for Tim this week, and Tim is enjoying some well-deserved time off. If you have any questions for us, whether it's about this topic or anything to do with real estate, feel free to give us a call, 781-837-4900. I know after last week's show, actually one of our listeners reached out to us on my cell phone because I gave up my cell phone at the end of the show and just said that they really enjoyed the show and they're going to be thinking about putting their house on the market in a couple months and we'll be in touch.
Yes.
So
Very nice.
That's what we're here for.
That's
Imagine
what we're
that.
here.
All these years,
Wow.
that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So this topic that we're talking about today is common homeowner mistakes and how to protect the biggest investment that you have. And when we're talking about the HOA fees, this is where my head was going with that snow story is don't be surprised if, you're in a condo development right now. Don't be surprised if there's going to be some special assessments that happen because of all the snow removal. If there's nowhere to put the snow, they will have to pay to remove the snow. But we're going to get a good melt today. But in the meantime, and there's a couple of subdivisions I can think of, and there's just nowhere to put the snow. So you you have to sort of be prepared for those types of things to happen. Also, in an HOA, those do increase. If you're in an older condo development, you want to check and see, different things like how are their reserves? What if the roofs go? What if the decks go? Is there enough money in reserves for that? Or is there going to be a special assessment coming up the line? Is the HOAs going to increase? Those are all things to think about.
Some other overlooked costs, maintenance and repairs, landscaping, snow removal. We talked about that, and pest control. So how to avoid those is ask for 12-month utility history. So when you're purchasing, review tax history and exemptions. This is something that happened to me. There was an exemption. The seller of the house that I purchased got an exemption for part of their property taxes, and that was not caught. So not sure who was supposed to catch it, but so my taxes were actually higher than what I was told. So don't make that same mistake. Understand HOA financials. So again, asking for budget, what's in reserved, and budget 1 to 3% of home value annually for maintenance. Let's see. We'll go on to draining all savings for down payment. Don't do it. The problem is that buyers sometimes put everything into the purchase, no reserve for repairs or emergencies. The solution is just don't do it. Consider lower down payment options. Again, talk to your loan officer and talk to your agent as well, because we see all these offers coming in, and sometimes they do have lower deposits, whether it's with the offer or purchase and sales agreement. But if you can explain why, you just be truthful. And some people understand that. Negotiate seller credits, rebuild emergency fund before making cosmetic upgrades.
I like that. I mean, that's just, I don't know, like, do people not think, like, I don't know what the word is that I'm thinking for right now. Rebuild emergency funds before making cosmetic upgrades is such an important one in my eyes, because you want to be able to, you never know when something is going to happen, right? It happened to us in 2014. I had no idea. Casey was first year at Fairfield University and Mackenzie was a senior in high school, and Mark ended up getting really sick, was in the hospital for 3 weeks. And then he was still very sick after the fact and wasn't able to work. So we had that emergency fund, to pay the bills and to keep life going while he was sick. So you never know when that's going to happen. If you can still cook in your kitchen, then it's okay.
Yeah. Listen, my kitchen and my bathroom, they're ugly, but they work.
Yeah.
They work.
Yeah.
One day they'll be redone, but when the dryer went and we had to buy a new washer and dryer, we didn't feel strange because we didn't put that money somewhere else. We said, okay, well, now we got to buy a washer and dryer.
Yeah. I can't imagine that it's very fun to and I know people are probably listening and saying, oh, well, Sharon, that's really easy for you to say. Well, guess what, people? There was a time when I remember I bought matching comforter set for the girls at Ames department store, and I couldn't pay my mortgage that month. They were $99 bed in a bag, right? And I got my mistake was I got the matching curtains and little rug. It was a flower. I can still see it in my head. And they were sharing a room, and when they both got in the twin bed, and I couldn't pay my mortgage. So I understand that things are tough. But what I'm saying is, don't buy things that you don't need to impress people you don't know with money you just don't have.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. It's just not worth it. For the most part, how often do people come in your house anyways? I mean, I haven't been in your house since your final walkthrough.
That's not true. For your birthday, when we were going to Marabou, I said, why don't you come in and have a tour?
Oh. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, you also don't like my cats.
Yeah,
and it's funny because Ethan said the other day, I don't even remember what we were talking about, but he was like, we have to have Sharon and Mark over for dinner. And I said, well, where are we all going to sit? I go, yeah, I would love to. We don't invite anybody over because we don't have a kitchen table.
Yeah. Well, you could move.
We sit in front of the TV and watch and we use coffee table because that was given to me and that's what we have. So
and the sofa,
that's what we use.
Right?
And the sofa.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but what I think on that whole thing is continue to put the money in an account where you have that rainy day fund. And then, as life does, tend to get a little easier and things like that, still live within those means. Don't spend it, and that's like with me and Mark. Every year we do one thing to the house. Like our house was built in 92. So every year it's something that we're doing.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was last year. Do you? What did we do last year? I mean, we literally do something every year.
Was it the sauna or was that the year before?
No, that was like 3 years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, every year we do one thing. I don't know what it was last year.
Oh, it was the laundry room.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we did the laundry and mudroom over. Yeah, good memory.
There you go.
There it was.
Okay. Again, we have literally only gone through the financial part of it. Should we move on to the next part?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's see. Segment 3. So, maintenance mistakes. So, okay, this is great. So, maintenance mistakes and neglect, we'll say that. So, deferring maintenance. So,
Don't.
You caught me off guard there. Just don't.
Just don't.
Just do what you're supposed to.
I mean, that's what we were just saying. Mark and I do something every year, right? We're doing something every year. And if it's a maintenance thing or a cosmetic thing, it's a thing.
Yeah.
So, one of the other things we did, maybe it wasn't last, but maybe it was the year before. We done 2 things. Year. So on the cabana because that was all rotted and everything too, right? So we replaced all of that. But continue to do those things because when the time comes that you do want to sell your house and it's going to be a mess if you don't.
Yeah. Well, so deferred maintenance, so ignoring roof issues, skipping HVAC servicing, not addressing small leaks, letting caulking fail around windows and tubs. So these impacts, small issues can turn into major repairs. So mold, rot, structural damage, it may equal lower resale value. So red flags during inspection. Chances are, if you're putting your house on the market and a buyer comes in, they're going to be doing a home inspection. Those things are going to come up.
And that's when I do go through people's homes. And again, when I go through, sometimes I'm like, oh, I have to remember to say this because I don't want people to think that I'm dissing on their house because I'm not.
Yeah.
I walk through your home as the eyes of a buyer because buyers are looking for what's wrong. They're not looking for what's right.
Yeah.
And And for some reason or another, I don't even know why that is the mindset of a buyer of where could I get money back? You know what I mean? That is not what it's all about. But as if I'm walking through a house and let's just say, I know you said something like a leak. If I'm in a room and I can notice that the ceiling looks, patched or something, I'll just say, oh, what happened here?
Yeah.
It isn't like I'm saying, oh my God, what happened here? But the
What
buyer
happened?
is thinking it.
Yeah.
So, and when I'm doing open houses and when I'm having showings and when I'm doing that, I think that that's communication has been the key to my success all these years because I want to talk to every buyer's agent that walks through any of my listings. I want to talk to every buyer at the open house, whether they're working with another agent or not. But people notice it. You can see their eyes look up, and I'll say, "Oh, you might have noticed that spot." Just so you know, the situation there was, the kids were in the tub and they oversplashed water over the side. There wasn't
Yeah.
caulking on the side of the tub, and that's how we got that situation. But people are generally satisfied once you tell them what the answer is.
Yeah.
So.
And they don't have to find it themselves.
Yeah, but if you're in a house and that type of stuff happens, that is a call that Mark gets a lot, by the way. If that is something that happens, make sure you take care of it, rectify it.
Yeah.
Don't give the buyer something to question or to guess or doubt.
Yeah. So how this affects the next buyer, inspection reports revealed defer maintenance. Buyer negotiates heavily and sometimes deals fall apart.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too is when I come to your house and I'm doing an analysis, keep in mind I'm comparing apples to apples, right? So if you say, okay, I'm in a 3-bedroom cape in a house that's down the street, was a 3-bedroom cape or in the same town, same neighborhood, same whatever, right? It's similar house and you've done no upkeep on your house, you've done no maintenance, you've done nothing.
Yeah.
And the house down the street has done all of, let's just even say just the maintenance. Think about my West Bridgewater listing that I have right now. Those people have been so good throughout the over 50 years that they've lived there, maintaining that house so nicely. When they upgraded their system to, it's 100 amp service, people might be thinking, oh, well, why didn't they do 200? Well, when they did it, it was 100 amp. That's all they needed. But it was knob and tube wiring beforehand, right? The
Yeah.
house was built in 1926. So isn't that funny? Think about that. I never
100
really
years.
thought about it. Yeah, I know it's 100 years old, but when I just said 26, I had to specify that
Yeah,
it
I
was
know.
1926 and
Someone
it wasn't
said the
built
other
in
day,
2026.
oh, in the year 2030. I go, what?
Yeah.
It's going to be the year 2030 in 4 years?
Yeah.
30.
2030. Wow.
2030.
Yeah. Interesting. Anyways, but they've done such a great job just maintaining that house. And that's what makes a house have the value. You don't expect that your house is going to get the same amount. If you have rot around your garage doors or your windowsills are all rotted or your roof is the original, like I'm just using my house as an example. It's not original, but 1992 when the house was built, the windows are the same, the roof is the same. All these things are not true with my house. But you're not going to get the same if somebody who has replaced everything.
Mm-hmm.
So don't expect that either when I show up.
Yeah. Prevention, so annual maintenance checklist, seasonal servicing, so it's HVAC, gutters, roof inspection, fix issues immediately.
Look at your chimney. We all know my story.
Yes, look at your chimney. And now his wife is
works.
doing an open house with
She's
you
doing
tomorrow.
an open house with me tomorrow, yeah.
If you've deferred maintenance, get professional evaluation now, prioritize structural, safety, water-related repairs, and be transparent when selling.
And one of the things that we skipped by that I did want to make a comment about was when you were talking about like pests, right? To have like preventative maintenance, I think it's really important. I mean, obviously we have it here for the office. We have it at the house. I won't get into the story, but a mouse got into our grill.
Oh, yeah.
I won't eat off it ever again. So we got a new grill.
Yeah.
They get in places, but we have preventative maintenance, on our house. You really want that because I'll tell you, when I do home inspections with my buyer clients and we're at I don't do them, I show up to them. But when it comes up that there's termites in the house, I have to tell you, the person who's most surprised, other than the buyer, is the seller.
Yeah.
Yeah, they generally don't know, but you should have preventative maintenance going on. So you have somebody that's like walking through the house quarterly. They come through,
Yeah.
and they look in the attic, they look in the basement, they look for all those things. But having preventative maintenance where you're paying somebody $100, $125 a quarter or something,
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're paying that. So let's just say $500 a year. I mean, even just say it's $1,000 a year. If you don't do that and you have termites in your house, I'm thinking of one house in particular when I was a buyer's agent, all the clapboard on the front of the house had to be pulled off. It was all rotted because termites were infested underneath.
Yeah. DIY repairs without proper knowledge. How many times have we seen this?
I don't even want to talk about it.
Common issues. Improper electrical work.
Yeah.
Don't touch wires, please.
Don't touch wires.
Plumbing shortcuts. I'm sure Mark
Don't.
has
Yeah, I see it all the time. I mean,
seen that.
well, I'm the wife of a plumber, so it's weird some of the things I do pick up on. Like, I'm like, that doesn't look like it's vented properly.
Yeah. Unpermitted renovations. We talk about that in our should we pull a permit, should you not pull a permit
Yeah.
show.
Just pull the permit.
Yeah, just pull it.
I mean, just why bother? Like, why? Why not?
Yeah.
That's what I want to hear from people. Why not?
Why not? And then they'll say, well, why?
Well, because you're going to have to worry about it at some point.
Yeah.
Might as well just get it behind you.
Structural modifications. So
sheesh.
you're knocking down a wall. Should you have?
Well, okay. Let's talk about that for a minute, because every time I do an open house, and I'm thinking of one house in particular that we had over, it was up in like Furnace Colony area, and great, wonderful people. I sold their ranch and her mother's condo, right?
Yep.
And it was every single person that came in the house was like, oh, and I could knock down this wall. Oh, and I'll just knock down this wall. Oh, and HGTV has ruined the what's the word I want? The common sense of
Common sense.
HGTV has ruined the common sense of buyers, because you can't just go into a house and rip down a wall.
Yeah.
I mean, anything can be done with money properly, but I always say to people, you know what? I've heard that a lot in here. Yes, it would open it up, give you more of an open floor plan. However, here are some of the things you need to think of. I'm not a structural engineer, but I would guess that this is, a carrying wall.
Yeah.
So you can't just take it down. You're going to have to either have a header, you're going to have to put some micro lambs up in the ceiling. You're going to have to do all that, then patch it and blah, blah, blah. And when you rip that up, okay, there's electrical in that wall. There's heat. There's a heat. What's it called?
Vent?
No, radiator. Yeah, one of the radiators, whatever they're called. I have a plumber in the other room, and I'm feeling hot that I'm saying the wrong thing right now. I'm not feeling hot because my plumber's in the other room, but a radiator. Yeah. So the heat thing, that means that there's pipes in the wall. So you can't just remove those things without really thinking things through.
Yeah.
It isn't as easy as knocking it down. Maybe you can make it a half wall. Maybe you can open it up a little bit. But then the flooring as well. That's what people don't think about. I'm like, all right, well, you have hardwood on this side. You have hardwood on this side. Looks like the hardwood was put up when the walls were up.
Yeah.
So as soon as you take that wall down, what are you going to do with the space in between?
Yeah. Or if it's different flooring or they don't match.
Yeah.
You're going to know.
It's a snowball.
It's a snowball.
HGTV, you've ruined.
Some risks with that. So insurance claims denied, inspection failures, and legal liability that goes along with that. A solution for it is hiring licensed professionals, pull permits, and keep documentation.
And here's the thing, and I like that is part of the agenda right now is, insurance things. Potentially you won't get insurance. The questions that the insurance companies are asking now, like it's the age of the roof, it's this, it's that. Well, guess what else is also happening in our world right now? Everything at town halls has gone electronic. So when we were looking for the house that my client is buying down in Falmouth, you were able to go online to the town building department and find all the permits.
Yeah.
So I was able to easily find that things were done without a permit.
Yeah.
So the insurance company can do the same thing.
Yeah, when it's a complete renovation and there's no permits pulled in the last 5 years, we're going to go with you didn't pull any permits to do your renovation.
And that one was sort of interesting because that was like a flip.
Yeah.
And since I do a lot of new construction and sort of know a lot about different like code and everything, and when we had the home inspection and they're like, there's no GFI in the kitchen. Now, okay, if the house, like your house, no GFI in the kitchen, that's okay. That's what the code was back then, right? So it's sort of like you're grandfathered in until you do a renovation, then you have to get up to code. This kitchen was done over, so I was like, no GFI, no permits. There's
permits.
no way somebody signed off on this.
Yeah.
So there are now GFIs.
Now there are. Skipping routine systems care. So an example of this is not pumping your septic system. Not a good idea.
Some people just don't even know they're supposed to.
Yeah, that's a little interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a question that you should be asking. So, if you're coming from a town that has, town sewer and you're purchasing a home that has private septic, and you're unfamiliar with that, make sure you're asking the proper questions and understanding what that means and what the maintenance that goes along with it. Like I said earlier in the show, I've purchased my home a little over 2 years ago, and I know that the septic was pumped right before I purchased, and I just pumped it after 2 years. And that'll be sort of like our routine of doing it every 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, my system is from 1992, so that would be considered an older system for sure, but we've always maintained it.
Yeah.
We get it pumped once every 2 years, and we just always have. We've always taken care of it. And that's the thing. I mean, like if you have a nice bag and you take care of that bag, it's going to last forever.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And I do have a nice bag.
You do. You're welcome.
Thanks to you. I have a couple.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Let's see. So pumpkin septic.
But now it's like you're a big girl because like that isn't what you got this year. Because you're planning for a wedding and stuff.
But we love it all the same. Ignoring chimney cleaning, neglecting water heater flushing, and not servicing wells.
Yeah.
Somebody recently just told me that they had a property that they are selling, and the well needs to be sort of have maintenance on it because it had been deferred for a while.
I know nothing really about wells, so I would have to defer that to a
You know what?
specialist.
So that's part of the reason why I'm grateful I never followed through with the first house I had under agreement because it did have a well.
Aren't you glad I'm psychic?
Well, yeah, but I walked away not because the basement felt weird, and that's why you didn't want to be there.
But I put some voodoo in your head.
Yeah, you were like,
this is not the
walk
house
away,
for you.
walk
this is
away.
Not the house for you.
But yeah, thinking about like when you lose power and not having power to your well, you gotta have a generator, right? Solution: maintaining service records, creating recurring calendar reminders, transfer documentation to new buyer. We only have about 2 minutes left of the show, and we still have quite a lot, but
Yeah, and I love that we're doing these full lists now too. So if anybody wants like a full list and a guide, you can send us an email at realestate@bostonconnect.com, realestate@bostonconnect.com. You can always get in touch with us at the office, 781-826-8000. But you can always get my cell phone as well, 781-294-4848, 781-294-4848. Just a little highlight. Oh, yeah. So we do have like key mistakes to avoid. So we have a guide on that. If anybody wants that checklist, we're happy to send that to you via email. I will be at 616-616. It seems weird to say that.
yeah.
And they're buying a house that's 16. But yeah, so 616 North Elm Street in West Bridgewater. This home, you will not be able to find one thing mechanically wrong with this house. Cosmetically, it's beautiful. It was built in 1926. It is gorgeous, gorgeous house. I'll be there tomorrow, 10 to 12. My husband, Mark, will be with me, and Melissa Clemens will also be with me. So if you are an unrepresented buyer, you can come along if you just want some information while we're there on, listing your home and things like that. See how I do it. I'm happy to help you there. 781-294-4848. And
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
We'll be back next Saturday.
we'll be back next Saturday with Tim and Dave. Thanks.